And believe it or not, I did try to do a fretboard with one of the minors and its relative major, and they conflicted. So that's why Aeolian is shown with the Mixolydian. The 5 is shown with the 6, because 5 is like this, and 6 is completely different notes. So now we have more information on the Aeolian, okay? Now we were looking at this inversion here, starting root 6-3. So we've got the E minor 6 shape. We want a little bit more information about these top 3 notes without just calling them the top part of an E minor, because guess what? When you were playing an E minor, when you're just learning guitar, you really didn't pay attention to these 3. Are they okay? Yeah, I think so. Sounds like my guitar's in tune, you know. But now we know we can look at it in 2 ways. First of all, caged letters go up as you go down the fretboard. So E goes up to G, right? E, G. So E goes to G. That follows the cage system. Now let's look at the relative. All right, before we go look at the relative majors. The relative major of E goes up to G. So this is a G major now. G root. I'm the parent. G root here. Alright, so here's root. Here's root G. Here's the G box right here. And don't forget the leading tone to that G is part of the tripentatonic scale of G. Right? That goes. Alright, there's the leading tone. Now, that we would get to, because guess what? When you get to the D-shaped 5th, you need that. And then that's part of the diatonic, you know. So it would be, what, from the, they're all from the C, so it's. I mean, if you're in the key, they're all from the root. So what we've got here is the G-shaped root, which we just talked about, this box here. And your E minor is primarily in there. It's the action fingers of this chord, this E minor chord. You can start from the 6 or arpeggiate from the root. Let's give this a name. It's going to be the top of this G minor. I mean, you could call it the mighty bar of the root shaped G, right? So if you put the capo there and you play the root shaped G, you've got your your root 3/6 there. Sorry for my lousy strumming. My fingernails doing me no good today. I nailed myself in the head when I was trying to adjust my glasses. But I like my fingernails. You know, they help me pluck. So what it is we're gonna, the way I had to do it was I wanted to see what the next cage over was. Now G, you go up from G, you get the A cage. So G minor shaped A minor, all right, which is 6 root 3 right here. Okay, this is a G minor shape. So there's the bottom part of that guy. But we want the top part, and this, believe it or not, this is characteristic of the G minor shaped box. Stop that. This is characteristic. My dog is chewing on herself, and she shouldn't. So, I mean, she got a bath a couple of days ago. You know, with this really good shampoo with on top. Anyway, we're gonna, you know, at least identify that there's a G minor going on here, same mode A minor. This happens to be the root one. Remember, G minor is always going to be root. C minor in Aeolian is always going to be, here's the C minor sixth, is always going to be first inversion. Okay? It's a root, but it's got something underneath it, which is the fifth, so second inversion. So it's going to be second inversion minor. Alright, C minor is always going to be second inversion. G minor is going to be root, so what would first inversion be? It's going to be E minor shaped. So that's important to remember. On the bottom three strings, you know, that root is going to be G minor shaped. Okay, and first inversion is going to be E minor shaped, so it's going to be something like sorry, I was kind of muting that string with my forearm. And second inversion, which starts on the E, which is the third, is going to be E minor shaped. C minor shaped. Sorry. Alright, so we know that. We know that. C minor shaped. Second inversion. So starting from the 3. So what are we going to do with this information? Alright, so now we kind of have a name for this half of it. Let's digress a second and look at the red notes. That is the Mixolydian. That's the G. It works the same way. What do we have here? Let's look at the root-shaped G. Root-shaped G is the G. Remember, G is going to be root-shaped, whether it's G minor or G major. The bottom part's going to be root-shaped. So you could use it for arpeggio, bass lines, whatever, you know. Then we go into start with the 7 here. Alright, what are we looking at here? Okay, so we got this root-shaped G. What's this guy? What's this guy? 5, 7, 2. Well, what do we call that? We've got the G. Well, I'll tell you, we can call this part of the G shape. Really just would like to, I'm comfortable with 5, 7, 2, maybe the 5 as a G shaped. What are we going to call these top 3? Alright, this G5 here starts here. This is the G box. So we've you know, pretty much framed out this G. But it's not really fair to say that this 7, this 2, and this 5 are part of that G. They are. But we should have a better way of classifying them. But they are part of that G. Just like we looked in the G minor and we had these 3 notes as part of the G minor, these guys are part of the G. And when you play G, remember that part of the G is to get your pinky up on that top G. Did you know you could, I guess you know now, we could hit that 2 and make a nice chord 2 up there. So that, well, I guess we have to accept that this is part of the G. Okay? The other half, if we're doing an arpeggio on the 5th, so it's just going to be root 7, 2, root 7. You notice I'm calling it root because it's a root arpeggio, but it's a 5. It can be 5, 7, 2, 5, 7, 2. We're going to go into this box here. What's going on? Okay, there's no interpretation, there's no relative major and relative minor here. We're dealing with G. It is the major. So just straight out, you read it off the pentatonic scale, go into the A box with it. Here's A5. Remember, red 5. Okay, and that's what it is.